insights, practical tips, and personalized guidance to help you create a standout CV. It reflects your unique skills and experiences. We thank you all for joining today, and we hope that by the end of this session, you will feel more confident and equipped to take the next step forward. I would like to introduce Ms. Sweta Mittal. She's an experienced resume writer, designer, with a demonstrated history of working in the writing and editing industry for more than 12 years. She has conducted similar sessions in multiple renowned colleges. So, without further ado, I would like to hand over the floor to you, ma'am.
I'm so sorry, there was a lag from my side from the internet. So, hi everyone, and this is Shweta Mittal. I want to introduce myself in brief. I'm Shweta Mittal. I hold 14 years of experience in writing resumes. So, I do have a lot of experience in writing resumes for freshers, middle level, senior level, and CXO level too. But since I've been giving a lot of workshops related to fresher entry level resume writing, I have an expertise over that. And today I'm here to share a lot of insights with you related to the nitty gritties of resume writing. Because the general trend that we see while writing resumes at a fresher level is that we do cut copy paste things from the internet, or maybe we cut copy paste things from our friend's resume. So that should not be the case, and what should be the case is what I'm going to talk about today. So I hope everyone is able to see my presentation. Let's just start with the presentation, and then post the presentation. I'm ready to take all your questions, whatever it is related to resumes, interviews, how to crack, so on and so forth. So let's just dive right into the presentation. But before doing that, I would want to understand from the organizers if we have enough people to start the presentation. Great. So let's just dive right into the presentation. And yeah. So what are we going to learn today is something I have enlisted here. We are covering topics related to what is a resume, what are the key components of it, the resume formats, some resume tips to get hired, say stages of an interview, and how to answer interview questions as well. So this I have already covered. Okay. What is a resume? So we all know what exactly is a resume. I needn't really give theoretical details over here, but in short, I would like to tell you that it is a very important document and the first step towards your dream job. So the purpose of the resume is that you cannot really, the HR cannot really scan and interview millions of peoples who come across for a particular job opening, and therefore we need resume to substantiate your entire career path in one document. Okay. So 7 key resume sections is what I'm going to talk about here. Starting from the first one, the contact information. The contact information is the most important section in the resume, where you carry your full name, your contact number, your alternate number if there is any alternate number, your email ID, And very important, when I say social media profiles, I do not mean that you write your Instagram or Facebook ID. I mean you write your LinkedIn ID, or maybe if you have created some blogs or some things related to the work, is what you have to mention as a link there. Having said that, contact information related to other stuff like your passport details, visa details, your nationality and everything only comes in picture when you're applying for Gulf jobs. It does not pertain to India at all. In India, we require only these many information, and that's about it. So the contact information comes in the top of the resume. In the right hand side of the resume, you have to mention your contact details, and in the left hand side of the resume, you have to mention your name and your surname too. The next component of a key resume is the resume headline. So the resume headline talks about the job objective. In the earlier scenario, if you must have seen that we used to have a job objective, but we used to have a name also attached with it saying job objective, but it is no more the case now. We do not need to make a different heading for job objective. We simply need to give a resume headline, which is very to the point. Earlier, we used to give statements related to it, but not anymore. You just have to give your job headline. And what do you have to give in your job headline is either you give your functional areas where you want to apply. For example, if you want to go for sales, marketing, operations, you can mention these three as your target functions in the job objective section. Having said that, you cannot mention more than three functional areas in the resume as your target job objective. But at the same time, they should be related to each other. For example, you cannot just mention sales and HR together as a job objective. That would give a negative impression on the recruiters that you're confused about your target area and you do not know where you want to go. You just are beating around the bush and you just would take anything up that comes across as a job opening. So don't do that. Resume headline can also cover your target designations. For example, you are very particular about a job description that you've seen and you want to apply only to that job description, then you can definitely use that job title also as your job objective. So either the functions or the designations. You cannot merge both. You cannot write sales operations, marketing executive, and operational head. You cannot do that. We need to maintain consistency. It should be either functions or the designations. Moving further, professional summary. So next in line is the professional summary section, which carries all your chronology. In your case, it would not be pertaining to the professional summary, but in your case, there might be internships that you've taken in between your education. So you can mention those here. That I'll explain in detail how to mention, but let's just cover what are the sections now for now. In core competencies, normally in core competencies, we give hard skills. By hard skills, I mean functional skills and your soft skills, which means your personality traits. But what happens is when you're just entering the job world, you do not have much functions to talk about. You don't even know what functions can you be good at. In that case, you can just give in your soft skills there. By soft skills, I mean you're good at communication, you're good at collaboration, you might be good at interpersonal skills. So these things, something you can give in your core competencies section. I would not suggest giving more than 9 core competencies, and 6 is also fine, but not more than 9. Okay, yeah. So the next thing that we're talking about is the education section. The education section, as everybody knows, should carry your the degree that you did, the school or the college name, the location of the college, the university. Now, to coming to the grades that you earned, I would not suggest adding grades if it is in the second level. If you have been a topper or if you've been in the first section of the grade, you can mention it, but don't mention it uh, if you're in the second grade. The reason for which is you can always talk about it when asked in the interview, but ATS particularly rejects people on the basis of the division also that you've earned. For example, if an HR recruiter has written in their ATS form that they want only people who have gained first division, and you've written second division, your resume will outrightly be rejected. So don't do that. If you're in the first division, write it. If you're not, just leave it. And you can tell this at the time of the interview. That's safe. It's not a blunder that you've gained a second division. That's completely okay, but not in the time of ATS screening. There are additional sections in the resume as well, which talks about your technical proficiencies, your IT skills. Maybe you're good at some software. Maybe you're good at MS Office, Excel, PPT. You can mention those. And this section is actually important. Even if you're a BCom student, technical skills has a lot of weightage. Language skills, by language, we mean what all languages you know and what is your proficiency level. Certifications, if you've done any, even if you don't have the certificate, that's completely okay. If you've done online certifications which are free of cost, that is also completely okay. At least the recruiter gets an idea that you're open to learning and you look forward to learning new things, even if it's for free. So whatever you've done across your career, you should always mention that. Moving further, we are going to discuss the three types of resume formats that we have. So the three types of resume formats that we have is the reverse chronological format, the functional format, and the combination, which is prevalently called the mixed format. Now I'll explain a little about the other two formats, which pertains to middle level, senior level, and top levels. But I will mostly talk about the functional format later because that is the only format which pertains to the fresher level. So chronological format means you're starting to mention your experiences in a chronology, starting from the very recent one and then moving down the ladder from where you started. So this is a reverse chronological CV. The second kind of a format is the combination format where you give I'm so sorry. So the mixed format carries chronology as well as functions. So mixed format is made for people who are very high level. So let's just not talk about it and maybe we can just focus on the or a two, you will still fall into this category because this acts as a very good format when it comes to writing entry level resumes. So as I already explained you, a functional resume is the best for freshers. Okay, so why is it best is what I'm going to let you know right now. Functional resume does not pertain to your chronology. It pertains to what functions have you gained strength in. For instance, you've been a part of your organizing committee in the college. So you know that you are very good at organizing things, coordinating things. You're good in listening with people. So these things you can mention under listening and coordination. So you can create blocks of each function in your resume and write your stents. But please don't worry if you've not participated in any groups or conferences. That's completely okay. You can still create a functional resume and write your skills, which you are good at technically, but you've never implemented it in the real world. So that is completely okay. Theoretical knowledge is also important. So we can always bridge that gap between being a learning things theoretically and implying it practically. So even if you've not done practically, please don't worry about it. Do write everything that you are confident about speaking in at the time of the interview. Okay, so I have explained you the structure. There are three kinds of structure to a resume, which is chronological, functional, and mixed. Now we are going to talk about the three types of resumes which are prevalent in the market. So the first is the textual resume. Along with the resume type, there are samples attached. You can very well see to it. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So the textual resume is basically a resume which is purely content based. There is no designing whatsoever. By designing, I mean there is no
Now we are going
logo
to
attached, or maybe there is no graphs attached to it, no pie charts, nothing. simple plain text document which is ATS compliant, which is search engine optimized, which is, you know, the text resume carries all the professional content, customized verbiage, and everything. Now, having said that, why do we not use graphics when you're applying your resume on a job portal? The answer to this is the job portals in India still do not read graphics. So when you put your resume through scans through your job portals, even though they allow you to upload it in the system, ATS would never read it. So it's a waste. So I would never suggest you to use a graphical resume in job portals. You can only upload your graphical resume in LinkedIn, because LinkedIn has that software to even read through images. Moving further down to the second type of resume, as I already explained to you, infographic resume. Infographic resume is the latest kind of resumes which has come into the market. It is obviously very efficient, very easy to the eyes, very less time consuming for the recruiters to read through, but it has its own limitations. As I told you, graphics are not read by the software which are embedded in the job portals. So if at all you're planning to use an infographic resume for job applications, you can use it while applying on LinkedIn. You can use it while sharing your resume on one-to-one basis to the recruiters, but you cannot use it for uploading on the job portals. The third type is the international resume. So international resume is an extension of a textual resume, but how is it different? Each country has their own format standards, own verbiage, vocabulary standards. For example, in Gulf, they expect you to make 3-pager resume, a detailed resume. They need all these details, as I told you, the visa details, per your number of dependents, marital status, etc. Moving forward, in US, in the contrary, they do not require to give so much details. They require to be very concise, crisp, one pager. The shorter the better in US. It's like that. They require a very, concise and crisp document. In UK, if you go, they are on the similar grounds of US, but the verbiage, the vocabulary changes. Obviously, you know that a British English is different from the US English. So we have to adjust our dictionary of the MS Word accordingly to the country you're applying for. And so on and so forth. Every country has their own standards. I just gave example of the very relevant ones. Okay, so how to write a winning resume is, I explained you. In the job objective, you have to give your target functional area. If you are very particular about the location that you're targeting, you do not want to target a location apart from the particular location, then please do mention your preferred location. If you are very particular about the industry too, that you would want to only work in an FMCG, or maybe you want to only work in IT industry, then please mention the industry type also. But again, you can only mention a maximum of 3 industry preference and 3 location preference, not more than that. Identify your key requirements. So basically everything works on your resume and the job description that you're applying for. So it's not that if you're applying for a sales resume and you're applying for a marketing resume, your resume should just be the same. Identify what are the requirements of the job description and shift things here and there in the resume. For example, in sales, they directly relate to revenue optimization, business development. But in marketing, they are more inclined towards strategizing, building the brand, building the PR, public relations, building the media planning thing. So on and so forth. Though those are interrelated, but the content should be adjusted as per the job description. Create a smart summary. So skill summary is a very important section of the resume. um, in the skill summary, you have to mention these 5 pointers that I've given very vividly. First is your total level of experience. Mostly it will not pertain to you because you have no experience at all. That's completely okay. Your last company, your present company, the stints you took across your career, the highest qualification that you possess, and some of your unique personality traits. So the personality traits part should be just the last line of the skill summary. It should not be the whole skill summary. Now if you ask me that what can we write in a fresher resume, there is no information related to the career to support our strengths. So at the same time you can write something related to what you're interested in. For example, if you're looking for a career in operations or customer service management, you would write sentences related to your ability to handle customers on priority, handling escalations. So you don't have the wording changes basically. For a middle level, it might be skilled in handling customer service. For a senior level, it becomes expertise in, and for entry level, it sticks to ability to handle. So the verbiage that we use in the resume makes all the difference. Therefore, you can in the profile summary very clearly write what you're interested in, at the same time showing anything that you can substantiate it with. If you do not have anything to substantiate, that's completely okay. You can just mention that you have the ability to do it. You think you have the capability to do it. You can also write, I'm keenly interested in doing this. I'm keenly interested in you just cannot the approach that you should follow is, I'm so sorry, I can all the people hear me? Hello. Okay, great. Okay, great. Moving further, uh, in your achievement also there should be some structure. When I say structure, you should have a structure related to the cause and effect thing. So everything work as problem, action, and result. The PAR effect. So there was a problem in the organization. Yeah, it can be seen now. Great. Yeah. So, as I told you, we need to have an cause and effect relationship in your achievements. You just cannot write plainly that you achieved 30% of cost control, or maybe you onboarded 10 sponsors for your college. How did you onboard it? And what was the effect that you got for the organization or the college is something. So you have to create a story, but in a one-liner thing. It's as simple as that. You have to create a cause and effect thing. You cannot just plainly write that you did something. How you did it, what effect did it make, is something you have to create your content around. Okay, when I spoke about hard skills, in this presentation you can see some examples: financial modeling, software development. These are the hard skills. And when I say soft skills, these are communication, collaboration, adaptability, critical thinking. These are the most searched soft skills. So I've enlisted all the 6 soft skills which are most searched in the ATS software. If you want to make a note of it, you can definitely do it. I'll pause for a second here. Great. So these are the resume must-haves and resume faux pas.
Hello everyone. So there's some network issue from the side of the speaker, and we are trying to connect with her. Till that time, I just wanted to inform that the placement cell has opened the CV vetting process for this year. They have also sent the UID allotments to all the students who applied for placements this year. So kindly check your personal mail IDs and join the WhatsApp group, the Peace and Updates group. And along with that, we have also shared the CV vetting template. So please submit your CV along with relevant proofs to us by Sunday, 7th July. Until then, if any one of you has any questions, you can put down in the chat box. We'll take them up as soon as the speaker comes.
Can you see my screen? Okay. I'm sorry for the disruption. My internet is a little laid back due to rains here in Pune. Any which ways. Yeah, so we spoke about the hard skills, the soft skills. Uh, would you be would you let me know if you got this resume must-haves and resume faux pas? Yeah, sure. So the resume must-haves are, as I told you, a perfect format, a perfect structure to the resume. Use industry-specific font in the resume. Do not go overboard with the font and use some cool font here and there. Use fonts related to, professionalism like Arial, Calibri, Franklin Gothic, or Times News Roman. These are the traditional ones which you can use. Vardana, so you can use these formats fonts, and do not use any font which you like the best, because certainly that might not be the choice of the recruiters, right? um the tense should be very perfect. You cannot just go past tense and present tense in one organization or one thing that you mention. If you've done something in the past, keep it as past tense. If you've done something in the present, keep it present. White spaces in the resume is a big no no. For example, if 2 to 3 lines are coming in the second page, the recruiters do not really appreciate it. You can easily adjust the 2 to 3 lines in the first page itself by doing some line spacing, some margin alignments. But if you have a lot of information which is coming to the second page, like for example, you've created a 1.5 page document, that is completely okay. Like if you leave out half page, that is completely okay. But please do not leave out like the entire page only carrying 4 to 5 lines. That would not look good and presentable for the recruiters. The top resume mistakes as per the surveys that we have created: spelling errors. Please do spell check using the spell check feature in the MS Word. Missing contact information, very important. How would the recruiter reach you if you do not give the contact information? Unprofessional email address. So we all have at some point of time made some very weird email addresses which we are not really proud about now at the time of joining a new career. So please, if you've done that at some point of a time career, start using a professional email ID now. Create a new one. Don't use something very unprofessional like Coolangs or something like that, some cheesy email IDs, because that would be a big no no in the recruitment industry. Irrelevant information. By irrelevant information, I can give you example of hobbies. Some people write their hobbies as to they like to do swimming, dancing, playing. Don't do that. The recruiters are not really interested in knowing your hobbies, because they're not employing you for the same, right? They are employing you for your skills. So don't write hobbies into the resume. They lower down your ATS scores also. um and analyze annoying buzzwords. So buzzwords are something when you act more mature than your age. Maybe you oversell yourself sometimes. For example, sometimes you write in the resume that you're good at strategic planning. Now strategic planning is something which you cannot do at your level, right? Because strategy is something which is created when you become a team leader, or maybe you've become a part of the core planning committee or something. But you cannot do it at the very starting. You can write planning, you can write project planning, you can write sales planning, but you cannot write strategic planning, because strategy is something which is a very heavy word you cannot use. So use your words very wisely. Do not just write anything which is trending in the market and trending in the internet. That would not solve the purpose actually. Including a headshot in the resume. Please don't use selfies as your photo. Do not use family photos as your photograph. Even if you don't have a photo, you can use your cell phones. Click a selfie, and there are a lot of apps which can create that selfie into a passport size photograph. Use that. uh, Having said that, photo is not even mandatory in the resume. It's completely your wish. I suggest people who are applying for roles in creative industry, like if you're applying for media and entertainment, you're applying for maybe hospitality, hotel industry, or maybe aviation industry, then you need the photograph. But if you're applying for a desk job, why do you need a photograph? So it's not even mandatory, but it's completely your wish. Even if you do that, take a headshot with a white background. So these are the recent trends of the job market. Social media is more important than you think. By social media, I do not mean Facebook or Instagram. I mean LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a very important platform where you can connect with other recruiters, other associates, and you can create with a lot of people related to your kind of interest areas. And LinkedIn is a free platform. So definitely take full advantage of it and create your LinkedIn profile along with creating a resume. It is equally important as a resume. As I told you in the very beginning, technical skills are very important in the resume. So please make proper use of that and include technical skills. Even if you know less, write it. Even if you know just the MS Office, write it. Even if you know just MS Word, write it. Anything that you know about the IT skills, you write it. Okay, these are my personal tips. Avoid using vague terms like detail oriented, hard worker. These are very generic terms which are used in hundreds of resumes. So, the recruiter loses interest the moment you write this, because they get the idea that, you are copying stuff. Be original. So don't like detail oriented or hard worker. And even if you write these, please be ready to give some backstory to it. If the recruiter just might ask you, how do you feel that you're detail oriented, please don't blank out at that moment. Be ready with an answer. Use bullet points for better readability. So do not give paragraphs in the resume. Always use bullet points because they are easy to the eyes. A recruiter gives only 6 to 7 seconds for a resume. So please make best use of that. Okay, we have covered almost everything related to the resume writing stuff. Now we will talk a little about the interview. I never speak in detail about the interview selection because this is a very customized thing. It can never relate. Not everything can be related to everyone, as I always say. So same with the interview selection process. Not my story cannot be your story. So therefore I'm just giving you a little bit of an idea about it, but having said that, it does not pertain to only these. There are no laid out rules basically. So yeah. So in an interview selection, these are the two cases. You upload your resume on a job site, you pass through the ATS, you get rejected. If passed, the recruiters see your resume manually through SEO optimized keyword softwares. If failed, then you just left among the rest. Case 2 is that you share directly with the recruiters. When you share your resume directly to the recruiters, they do not pass your resume to the ATS software, but they pass your resume with through the optimization softwares, like whether the keywords are there or not, or maybe grammar is good or not. So these basic softwares they would use, but ATS is not applicable in these cases. Okay, so these are the very interview basics. Be punctual. Please be ahead of time. Be polite. Be amicable. Be very receptive. Be prepared. Of course, you have to be prepared. Be positive. Please keep a positive attitude, and don't let your anxiety come up to your face. Keep it a little comfortable. Okay, how do you prepare pre-interview? You do company research. Now sometimes, if you must have seen, people will 99.9% cases they will ask you, have you read about the company? People very plainly say that they have not read about the company. I agree, they do not expect you, and they would not really reject you on this basis. But if you have read about the company, your chances of getting hired gets more. So though it's not a chance for rejection, It's not a criteria for rejection. It is definitely one of the criteria for accepting your candidature. So do a little bit of a company research. Do some practice of Q&A. Some are very generic questions which are just there, like where do you see yourself in 5 years, or maybe your family background, your educational background. These are very basic questions which everyone asks. So basic Q&A, you can do a mock thing with your friends, or maybe your at a mirror or something like that. Mock interviews, as I told you, you can do mock interviews. Practice meditation. This is a very generic thing, but it really helps. It really helps to cool you down, so you can do that too. Okay, during the interview, appearance and your body language talks, a lot about your candidature. So maintain a good posture. Do not lean. Do not create a hump or something. Maintain a good posture. Make eye contact. Do not just look at the ceiling and answer questions as if you're not interested and just come to pass time there. Do not do that. Make eye contacts. It makes you feel more confident, and it makes the recruiters also feel that you're confident. Build a rapport. Remain engaged. Okay, red flags, no interruptions. When a recruiter is asking you questions, please don't interrupt in between. If you have any questions, please keep it in your mind, and then you can ask them once they're done with their questions. Lying in the interview, it would take you nowhere at a longer pace. Might take you somewhere in the shorter stint, but not at a longer pace. I'm telling you this by my experience. Don't lie or forge anything in the resume or at the time of the interview. Asking inappropriate questions. Do not ask inappropriate questions as to, for example, will we be pressurized? Will there be a lot of work pressure? Don't do that. They would not appreciate it. Bad mouthing a current company, former company, don't do that. For example, you've left a company and you're going to some other company. Don't bad mouth the previous company, because it shows that you might just bad mouth them also when you leave them. So don't do that. Always be a little cautious when you're talking about your previous employer, and always give good reasons of leaving the organization. Be it any case that you've left it, does not matter. Be a little polite. You can always tell them that there was a tense working environment there. Maybe there was a lot of there was no innovation in the company, and I had to leave it because of that, because I wanted a personal and mental growth. So these simple little answers makes a lot of impact. Coming across as overconfident, obviously nobody would like it. Post interview, for the interviewer, for the target position, for yourself, send a thank you note to express gratitude. So thank you letters are very prevalent nowadays. In US and UK, they are a very old concept, but in India they have just entered since a year. We give thank you letters for taking the interview. It makes an impact, and when you're in the inbox of the recruiters, it definitely keeps you in their inbox, because if at all you're not fit for that position, they might call you for some other position. So always give a thank you note when the interview is done. Follow up for the interview in a very polite manner. It's not that you just following up every hour. Follow up with there is a follow up letter too. So there is a very professional way to follow up also. If you go through the internet, you might find follow up letters, and if you want personal assistance related to thank you letters, follow up letters, you can come up to me also. I'll guide you basis on that. And what is for yourself, the activity that you to do is you have to reflect on what you said in the interview, how you acted, and not do the same mistake that you did in the first interview. Okay, the types of questions asked in the interview: behavioral. For example, tell us about a time when you faced a challenging situation and how did you resolve it. So these are all behavioral questions. Situational. How would you handle a conflict with a team member? They might give you a hypothetical question as well. In case there might be a tight deadline and the person handling it is just absent, what would you do in that case? So hypothetical questions are always asked. These are called the situational questions. The next thing is technical questions. If you're going for a data analysis, for example, so they would ask you questions related to it, like how would you know, how do you feel that you're good at data analysis, how would you do market research, do you have any experience of any software, so on and so forth. So technical round is also always there as a part of the interview. Okay, so answering questions also comes as a, process. You have to first explain the situation, then the task, then the action, and then the result. So this method is called the star method. If you want to take a screenshot, I would definitely urge you to take a screenshot of this PPT slide particular, because this will give you a lot of insights as to how to handle situational and hypothetical questions. And in the next slide, I would also give you certain examples. You can read through this also. Take a screenshot and read through it. You will get sense of what I'm speaking about. The star method is the best method to be used when you're giving an answer in an interview. So this is the situation. I've given an example here. This is the task, the action, and the result. If at all you could not have, you did not get the time to go through it, I can resend it to you. We can do that later too. So this was about it. The session has ended, but if you require any more assistance from me related to professional resume writing, or any tips you need related to interviews, you want your LinkedIn to be created, I have done a certification in LinkedIn profile writing. So anything related to your career coaching that you require, you can come up to me and I'll be glad to answer all your questions and give you professional services if required. You can take my number and my email from the organizers. They have it readily available for you. And that's about it. Thanks a lot for attending the session and being attentive. Now we can open the platform for any questions that you have.
Firstly, thank you so much, Shweta, for connecting with us today. Thank you for your time. The way you articulated the concepts and shared your experiences, it was truly commendable. For the Q&A session, actually, we are out of time. That is the reason we do not open the chat for Q&A. If there are any questions, we would share with you on your contact number or email ID as shared with the students.
Definitely. You can definitely do that. You can send, you can also create a WhatsApp group and we can do a Q&A there, and whatever is comfortable to the students. Because as told by the coordinators, they just have 3 days. So if they have any questions, they can shoot their questions over the group.
Surely,